or maybe you're giving 2022 some serious side eye about whether or not you think that things can get better from where 2021 left off for you. Hello, hello, my darling sweet friend, and welcome to Braveheart Open Mind Live. If we haven't met yet, I'm Kayla Vavra, a self-love and empowerment coach and poet, and I am absolutely delighted that we are spending time together in this way today to talk about you and your deep and beautiful self-love. And it is fully okay if your self-love doesn't feel deep and beautiful yet. That is what we are here to talk about. And that is what you are here to work on so that you can be more deeply in relationship with yourself. And so what I would like for you to do is think for a moment about your past or about your childhood. And think about how often, how frequently, and how well you were taught to be in relationship with other human beings. I imagine it was similar to something like movies that you watched, rom-coms, right? Where someone falls in love with someone else and you learn contextually with that how to be with someone else. Hi, Erin. Thanks for being live with me. I hope your day is going well. So think about those movies that you watched that taught you how to be in relationship with other people, even if it was like a besties rom-com like Bridesmaids or something like that. Think about how often in your life you've been shown an example of what to do to be in relationship with other people, and perhaps what not to do in relationships with other people. When I think about what not to do, I often think of Romeo and Juliet, not only because I learned it when I was in high school, but when I was a high school teacher, it was part of the curriculum to teach. And Romeo and Juliet have no idea what they're doing, right? Like, they end up killing themselves in the end, and it's just this storm of what not to do in a relationship with other people. And my point in bringing all of this up is that you, my darling sweet friend, have spent more time being taught by your childhood, by society, by your past experiences, how to be in relationship with other people. And you spent so much less time being taught or being shown how to be in relationship with yourself. And as we sit here, oh, Erin says, good to see you on here. Thank you. Good to see you too. When we start this beautiful new year, as we are live together right now, it's the beginning of 2022, and maybe you have stars in your eyes at the possibilities of new beginnings, or maybe you're giving 2022 some serious side eye about whether or not you think that things can get better from where 2021 left off for you. Hi, Gaurav. Nice to see you. So when you think about where you are with this capacity for growth or for greatness or for being in relationship with yourself heading in to the new year, please, please know that if you don't feel like an expert, or you feel like you're lost, or you feel like you really need some help, it's because you've spent more time learning and being in practice of how to be in relationship with other people rather than how to be in relationship with yourself. And so today we are going to talk about what that means or what that looks like to be in relationship to your own darn sweet, beautiful self. And one of the keys that I want to mention is that to truly and deeply be in relationship and be in love with your own darn beautiful self, you have to know that loving yourself deeply becomes a practice of assuming that every emotion that you feel and every thought that you think is from a place of love for yourself. Even those thoughts that you notice that say things like, you're a dirty cow person, or you are never going to be able to do what so and so person could do, or that's not meant for you. Even those thoughts that speak those words, your most deep level of self love comes from that ideal of knowing that even those thoughts are coming from a loving place from your own mind. Oftentimes, they are coming from a place of safety and a place of protection. For me personally, my brain used to tell me that I was an ugly cow person because I was protecting myself from what other people might say about my body. Because if I insulted myself first, then other people's insults couldn't possibly hurt as badly as I was hurting myself. And that logic is twisty. Like it is. It's twisty logic because your unconscious mind is not the most logical being in your body, right? Like you are. Your soul self is. Your soul self who knows that those comments feel bad and make you feel sad and bring you down. Like that soul self is the person who can apply that logic to that thought. Your unconscious mind, on the other hand, often created thoughts like that, or beliefs, or what it sees as truths, when you were so deeply young in childhood. So many of our unconscious beliefs came from that age range of 0 to 7 years old, when we are really developing a lot of our moral compass, when we are really developing inside of our unconscious mind how we see ourselves fitting into the vast world around us. And between the ages of 0 to 7, you are basically a walking unconscious mind. Okay? Like your job as infant, as child, is to learn how you fit into the context of the world around you. And so your sweet unconscious mind just tried so hard to fit you into the context of how it saw you, of being able to generalize comments that perhaps some other little kid on the playground called another one a cow person. And your unconscious mind looked at that and said, oh, well, we kind of look like that person who just got called a cow. We are a cow, right? Like your unconscious mind's job was to, and is, to look at details and generalize them according to your own worldview. And so when you consider those mean girl thoughts, those thoughts that are unsavory, those thoughts that you don't like, the thoughts that make you feel bad, when you can look at those and deeply understand that those were coming from a place of love, or coming from a place of like ignorance of how that would impact your self-esteem because you were like 3 years old or 4 years old, when you can understand that that was formed from a place of loving, misguided helpfulness, or true like innocence as to how that would impact you later in life, it becomes easier and easier to feel love for that version of you who is just trying to keep you safe or is just trying to help you form your worldview. And when you can love that part of yourself, that unconscious mind component that pops those thoughts into your mind, you learn how to be at peace with yourself. And when I say at peace with yourself, what I mean by that is you learn how to stop being in conflict with those thoughts, right? Like when you hear your brain say a thought that makes you feel bad, your response is to be in conflict with that thought of that makes me feel bad. How dare you say that? And your sweet soul self, who felt so deeply insulted by that thought or so deeply impacted by that thought, can learn to come to terms with your sweet unconscious mind through the lens that your unconscious mind didn't mean to be a dillweed with that thought, right? Like it didn't mean to be unkind. That was never its intention. And so that is the crux of being able to be in relationship with yourself in a way that results in true and deep self-love, that results in a feeling of holistic inner peace because you're not constantly in conflict with yourself, which is beautiful. Another way that you can be in love with yourself and truly treat yourself in a way that feels good and in a way that feels uplifting and in a way that feels self-supportive as you enter this beautiful year or this beautiful time of new opportunities for yourself, is to also understand that all of your emotions are loving too. So we just talked about your thoughts, but also all of your emotions that you feel are also coming from a place of love. So that rampant fear that makes you feel like you should stay small and stay in your comfort zone and curb your ambition or curb your desire or to curb your dreams, your possibilities, your potential, that fear is also coming from a place of love. Because your unconscious mind, by design, is there to keep you safe. And the safest way that it can keep you safe, or the easiest way that it can keep you safe, is to keep you small and to keep you in your comfort zone and to make you afraid of going outside of that box. And again, that intention is coming from a place of love. That fear that it's feeding you is coming from a place of love. And perhaps a place of 3-year-old love, because some of those perceptions on what we should be afraid of versus what we should not be afraid of were also formed during childhood. Were also formed when you were a cute little 4-year-old. So you can feel love and compassion for that 4-year-old or 3-year-old version of yourself, in knowing that every emotion that comes up for you, even the undesirable ones like fear, are coming out of a beautiful place of love for you. And so when you can combine that with the fact that your thoughts are of love, your emotions are of love, your dreams and desires are, of course, coming from a place of love, because why else would you want those delicious things for yourself if not because you love yourself and your potential? It becomes easier or more effortless to see that all of you loves all of you. Your soul self has the full capacity to love all that your unconscious mind presents to you. Even if she doesn't like it, she loves it. Okay? And your unconscious mind is just acting from a place of love for your soul self. Okay? And so when you can recognize that everything within you only or just or fantastically loves all of you, it becomes easier and easier to see your potential for yourself. It becomes easier and easier to see how, in this beautiful new time, you can take time to deepen that relationship with yourself in a way that feels so dang beautiful. Because being in a relationship with yourself is one of the deepest, sexiest things that you can be, is in relationship with yourself. You can even think of it as if your soul self that desires and dreams, is in a romantic relationship with your human self. That side of you that wants to keep you safe, that wants to make sure that like you are conserving enough energy to fight off like this generational lion, tiger, or bear attack or evolutionary fear, right? So imagine it as a love affair between your human self, who just wants what's best for you, even if it's misguided, and your delicious, delightful soul self, who wants everything for you out of this dripping and luxurious human experience. And so, if that is helpful to you, think about it in terms of that metaphor. How would you negotiate a relationship with your absolute best friend in this world, who you know just wants what's best for you? How would you treat your unconscious mind if it were your best friend who you wanted to be in relationship with? How would your unconscious mind greet the crazy ideas of your soul self? Even though it thinks that you're a wackadoodle who does dangerous things, it still wants to be in a relationship with you. It still wants to do its job for you, which is beautiful. And so you can begin to feel into these textures of loving yourself from a place of complete and utter understanding that no part of you is at war with yourself. Every part of you is in love with you. And if you can begin to see that, then you begin to be in luxurious, delightful relationship with yourself. And that is quite possibly the most exciting thing that you could hear at the beginning of this year, or at the beginning of this time for you that you are watching this right now. That's perhaps the most revolutionary thing that you can come to understand about yourself, is that all of you loves all of you, even when it doesn't seem like it. And one of the ways in which you can begin to understand that other side of yourself that you are feeling like you're in conflict with is to just ask it. Ask yourself, ask your unconscious mind, for what reason do you want this fear for me? Or for what reason do you not want me to do this thing that I desire to do? For what reason do you not want me to found the business of my dreams? For what reason? And usually the first reason will be something that is based in safety or protection. And once you hear that answer from your unconscious mind, tell it thank you. And for what reason do you want safety or protection for me? And continue to ask your unconscious mind, the other side of you, your sweet human self, for what intention do you want that for me? And the deeper you allow yourself to go, that's where you begin to see the love. The more and more you take the time to be in relationship with all parts of yourself, with your human self and with your soul self, the more you take the time to be in that relationship and ask yourself, for what intention do you want that for me? Or for what intention do I desire that for myself? You are going to find more and more reasons to love yourself, about why loving yourself is the absolute best decision, why loving yourself is the absolute best feeling in the freaking world. Because when you know that you have your own back, nothing can stop you. The world is your oyster. Everything is possible when you know that you have your own back. And that is freaking beautiful. So that is what I wanted us to speak about today. And if you want some more luxurious questions to help get you into the mood of talking with yourself, I totally urge you to sign up to get my love letters in your email inbox. It takes topics like this and it takes our time together that we spend like this and it expands on it from a place of love. And I often sprinkle in insightful questions for you to ask your unconscious mind or for you to ask your sweet soul self about what you desire so that you can begin deepening that relationship with yourself. So the link for that will be below. And when you are ready to more deeply dive into these delicious textures for yourself, or when you are ready to be more deeply in relationship with yourself, those love letters will be waiting for you. And if you're like, love letters sound great, but like, how can I really do this thing? How can I really get into relationship with myself? My delicious program called Homecoming is so exciting and so made just for you to come home to yourself, to be in sweet relationship with yourself. So I will leave the information for you to find out more about that down below also, so that everything is available to you, because you are worthy of deepening your relationship with yourself. You are worthy of self-love and self-empowerment and everything good that you desire for yourself. You are worthy of that, my sweet friend. And I thank you so deeply from the bottom of my heart for spending time with me. And most of all, for spending time with you, for you, so that you can be in deeper relationship with yourself, so that you can empower yourself and do everything that you can imagine for yourself to set out to do. From my heart to yours, I'm sending you so, so, so much love.